All right, welcome back, listeners. This is Ron Servin in the Man Cave Experience, as we like to call it, with my main amazing friend, Cedric Edison. I'm going to get to him in a moment, but just for me, just in this space of newness, just still kind of feeling the new year. Got great weather here in Southern California, lots of good rain, rainfall. Spring is here. My yard is just amazing right now. Just enjoying just all aspects of my life, feeling fantastic and here, present for you, Cedric. So, what's going on with you, brother?
Man, everything, man. Like I'm kind of in the same spot. Man, we're approaching 1 year with with my son, y'all. So that's all new. Like him just growing up, it's like, yo, just new stuff, man. Like going down this speaker path more versus, the one-on-one and doing. So it's a lot of newness with me too, man, trying to figure it all out and enjoying it. And, we talked about fun, trying to incorporate that too. So, that's what it is, man. That's what it is.
I love it. And I was just reflecting over the past, I think, couple weeks, and I shared with you, kind of off call about some challenges for me and just kind of a topic that I thought would resonate with us here on the channel, just talking about these types of topics that men don't typically engage in. I think many men have these thoughts, would most likely love to have these types of engaging conversations, but oftentimes we don't find those men, or we don't know where those groups are, and that's kind of why we're here, or that is why we're here. Two men just having this conversation around these topics that we just kind of come into our mind and we feel like sharing. So again, over these last 2 weeks, I've kind of had some little bit of soul searching with some new things happening in my life. Some things are kind of coming in culmination with my retirement. And what I have really connected more with, and the topic that I was going to introduce and talk about today was about how we, in our lives, where we go wide in relations to how we apply ourselves in all the different ways that we do, versus going deep, deeper in areas that we're not just working on the surface level, challenges or efforts that we want to make and move forward in our life. How are we conducting our life in a way where, and this is kind of what I've been doing that I'm more aware of, is doing a lot of things, good things, right? Just things that I'm impacting others. I'm, growing, my business. I'm doing these things that are, creating ripples in the world or in the universe. And at times not feeling like the results aren't what I expect them to be, or think that they might be able to be. And this kind of equates back to, at times, playing small for me. So, so this topic we're talking about today, and I'd love to hear your input on it, Cedric, is just how we are looking at our life to make sure, if there's something that's really important to us, are we giving it the energy that it needs to be fulfilled or to come into fruition? And what I have found is spreading myself too thin. So what I'm now needing to do and taking action on, is looking at all the commitments in my life and understanding, maybe it's not the right time to engage in that. Maybe I need to back off and refocus my energy in the most important things. And maybe that's 2 or 3 things: my family, my career, all those things that are the most important things to me. So I'm really reevaluating, kind of coming back to the core of who I am, and letting go of some of those things that I wouldn't say aren't serving me well, but they're not serving me at the capacity where they're really benefiting the overall growth of me as a human being at this time. And then it's oftentimes not never, it's just not right now. And we were talking before the call about Toastmasters being one of those. I love doing public speaking, and I want to continue to grow my career as far as being a motivational and speaker. But that's the energy that I'm spending to do that is lesser than I'd like it to be for that to be completely successful. So that's something I'm backing away from right now, knowing that that energy that I'm bringing back to me is going to be focused in the most important things for me right now. So I'm curious for you, Seb, because you've got a lot of things going on in your life. You know, you're still working, you know, at your current job. You know, you're growing your coaching career. You're doing speaking events. You're a father. You know, you've got a relationship that you're fostering. How do you feel about, you know, kind of what things you're doing or not doing in your life to really have, I guess, a sense of balance, and how you're able to really feel like you're doing the deeper work in areas that are necessary to really feel fulfilled?
Man, good question. Good question. Um, and it wasn't until here recently, man. Like I really didn't, and I don't say I didn't, but it kind of evolved to me being at a place where I felt like I didn't have a handle on it. Because, you know, each new level is a new devil, is the saying I have. You know, because you change and grow yourself, and then you hear, and then life happens, and then so like at this point I'm kind of in that transition because I've gotten to another level, and now it's like, okay, we have this going on. He's getting older. She started school, and the whole nine, the business, everything. So it's really, I like how you say, man, and I honestly got it from you, but just kind of taking a step back and really looking at the things that serve my overall goal the most. Um, and like you say, which ones are detracting or attracting to the mission. Not that they all aren't. It's just, you know, right now, one of the ones I'm thinking about is, um, you know, this, and here's the thing is, I'm a speaker, but it's this really, really time consuming speaker course. And I'm like, okay, well, this takes up a lot of my time, where right now my main focus is, yes, my speaking and growing that. But right now, the main thing for me is family time right now, because I'm looking at it like, okay, I don't want to miss out on this precious time and be able, you know, and I don't want to look back and say, man, I sacrificed these precious moments when you're a tiny tot because daddy was trying to do this. So it's just a way, a point now, just trying to really evaluate and figure out how I can marry the two, or if it's possible, but just knowing or looking at how can I set a timeline. You know, it's basically a SMART goal.
Mhm.
Like, let's be realistic about this. Okay, when can I realistically allow time to spend taking this class versus, oh, let me try and do 15 minutes here and then try and just handle him with the right hand. Because I heard, you know, a person I look up to, Eric Thomas, say, you can't be great at many, you know. And then it makes me think about a multitasking exercise I used to take my associates through at work, where, you know, it would just be like a little simple origami exercise where you would just fold the paper, and, you know, you had to follow these instructions, you know, read the instructions, fold the paper. But at the same time you're folding this, I would read a story out loud. And at the end, I would ask details about the story and see who had fixed it, you know, who completed it. And without fail, I can't remember any time somebody got it 100% either complete over here and had every detail over here. It's just impossible, no matter how well you think you multitask, how well you think you got a grip on things. And I'm going back to that now, thinking, hey, you can't be great at many.
Mhm.
Find something, get good at it, then move to the next thing, versus trying to multitask everything. It's just like, Let's bring it in. Let's get back focused and take the single path down that journey, or towards that journey of freedom or life. Not even freedom, just life. But just narrow it down because it gets hectic trying to do it all, and that's how I just create more stress, and it's just a bad ordeal all the way around.
Yeah. Well, and because there's times we want to just be able to check the box, right? We want to, at the end of our day, if we haven't checked any boxes, we don't oftentimes feel like we've been successful. But maybe it's not checking the box that day. Maybe it's just taking action, knowing that that's leading to checking the box.
Yeah.
That idea of you're not going to be able to check the box of being a good father today, are you? Right? But you're doing things every day to ensure that that box is going to be checked for his whole life or your whole life. It's funny because when we're talking about this, it's kind of equated to what we've gone through in our coaching process about clearing the clutter, right? What things are
Mm.
what things are keeping us from spending or investing the time that's necessary to be engaged in our relationships, in our coaching career, all these things that we're moving into. Um, so one of the things that they brought up in kind of this preparation for mastery, which I'm doing now, is I think Carrie called it like the business of life file. So she was saying her husband, like with their finances, like bills or things related to the family, that aren't necessarily something that they need to talk about tonight, they put into a folder, and then they create time each week to go through that folder of things. So, oftentimes it's not necessarily about eliminating things. So for me, when I'm looking at how I'm the time that that I have, what I'm investing my time in, how I'm spending my time, I might still be able to more effectively, or I actually might be able to more effectively manage that, doing the same things or more, as a result of not just jumping here and there, right? It's like, okay, I'm doing all this because all of a sudden I see this on my desk and I need to take care of it, versus that's really not that important right now. If I don't do that right now, what is the possible negative outcome? Versus if I don't do this, what's the positive negative outcome? So for me, and I'm interested in you as the listener, what things in your life that you have this list of to-dos, are you more of the box checker where you have to, everything that you have listed out, you make sure you get done? Or are you open to the things that come up in the day, that change that, knowing that that's life? Or are you struggling with what things you can let go of to actually create some new space for something that's more important for you in your life right now? And that's where I'm at, and I think that's that's an ongoing process. I don't think that's an age process, thing of when you're at a certain age. I mean, as we become more mature and older, I think just that continued effort to it's that transformation process, right, of what we can let go of, that continually process of what, as I let go of this, right, maybe it's right now I let go of this, but now I'm going to have more of this. We spoke last episode about fun, and what can I let go of in my life to create more fun? And that's those are all things, as we kind of evaluate and experience or wanting change in our life, which is available to us, I think, for our entire life. Change isn't just something that we're able to experience at a certain interval in our life. I'm of the opinion, and I think Cedric, you would agree, change is always possible. It's our willingness
Yeah,
to
yeah.
it's our willingness to create those steps for inevitable success, knowing that it's going to take all those those parts of it to make it successful. Um, so it's a good process for me to go through it, because I'm in this transitional time. I'm finishing a career, I'm starting a new career, I'm trying to help support the family in many different ways, financially, giving that additional support there. being at home, handling things at home. So it's important for me to be aware of, things that I can let go of, whether it's completely, because there might be some things as well. I mean, I was talking earlier about just those things that maybe it's not now, right? I shared with you, Cedric, about this men's retreat. It's not, we're not going to do it now. It's not now. So I think that's, as the listener, you might think when we're talking about this, we're asking or suggesting that you just cancel things out in your life altogether. It could be a not now, or it might be that canceling out. Maybe it's one of those behaviors that are like, that aren't serving you well, that is a bad habit that could be replaced by something that's going to take you in the direction that you really, that is your purpose.
Yeah. Say, man, I'm listening to you talking. I'm just kind of curious, man, because I'm like, yo, it might be a lot of people out there listening that might be saying, well, man, I hear what you're saying. I hear y'all. But I'm having issues. Like, I got to tell people yes, and they haven't, like they're the people pleaser.
Right.
What steps or advice would you have for that person out there like that? Like, that's saying, well, man, it makes sense, but I don't know how to say yes to myself or no to other people to make time for themselves.
That's a great question. So I think there's that balance of serving others, which is kind of what we do as coaches. We're serving others, and we're trying to open space for them to create change in their life. So those people that are just by nature people pleasers that really kind of don't understand how that is negatively impacting them, for certain people, it's like, what are you not experiencing as a result of that? What in your life are you missing out on that this sacrifice is more important than you fulfilling some of these, maybe it's basic, it might even be basic needs, right? That we need as human beings, that we're giving of ourselves so much, whether or not it's with the expectation that this is going to come back to me, or if it's just more, I'm not worthy of this, so I'm just going to give it to you and just disregard any needs or wants that I may have. So I guess the question I would ask that individual is, as a result of you giving so much of yourself to others, what are you not experiencing? Where are your struggles? What are the things in your life that you really want more of, but can't find time or space for because there's so much willingness just to fill everybody else's bucket versus looking at your own bucket and seeing, because I think you can have both. I think we have the ability to make sure it's kind of, we've talked about this on the channel here, putting that oxygen mask on yourself first. You're going to serve others, I think we have to be willing to make sure we're whole before we can start helping others to become whole themselves. And because otherwise it just becomes, we're lost, right? We're lost in the whole process of who we are, really identifying with who somebody else might be, and we can feel good about that. But there's so many things that are not getting fulfilled, I would guess, as a result of just that willingness to put everybody else first and always put yourself. I mean, you have to take care of yourself first. You have to know that you are the most important thing, and who you are. You have to do take that seriously enough to where you ensure before you do all these other things that you're in the best possible place you can be, so you can serve that person at the highest possible, with the highest possible experience as well.
I love it. That's beautiful.
And
I love how you put that. Like, what are you not experiencing? Like, that's, we both coaches, man, and that's one of the most powerful questions, to getting somebody to understand, like, well, hell, especially when you're sitting here and like, man, I got all this going on and I want to be feeling this, or not even one, probably don't even think about that. It's just, I need to make this person happy. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do this. Or I know I want to do this. Because we got the end goal, But what we fail to realize is a part of the end goal is just being, and it's like, what are you not experiencing? Because maybe that one piece, that may be the key piece to be a game changer.
Right.
Oh, well, I would like to be experiencing more fun. Okay, well, what do we need to, one, what the hell is getting in your way of having that fun, right? What's getting in your way to experiencing that? And man, I love how you put that, dude. Damn good advice, damn good way to
But it's work
bring
in
that.
progress, right? Because I find myself at times coaching individuals and making them aware of what's possible for them. But then I'm like, God, I'm not doing that. It's like I was just thinking about, enjoying the sun, enjoying a sunset or a sunrise, trying to connect people to just the daily experiences that are there, that are available every day. Your breath, you know, through meditation, experiencing your breath. Yet there's days that go by where I don't experience that. So it's that understanding of telling others or sharing with others at the level that I've experienced in the past, but then there's just, it's walking the walk and talking the talk, right? It's like you're almost listening to yourself as you're telling or encouraging others to step forward in their life. So you have to listen to yourself. I mean, it's almost that shared, words that you're putting out there. Those are for you as well. I mean, these things that we're telling others,
Yeah.
listening to yourself as you're saying those things and connecting to that. I mean, I think that's where our growth is, right? It's like these words that I'm telling you right now, wow, that's not me, or that is me, or I want more of that, or I need less of that.
Yeah.
It's really slowing down life to that point, right? To where each moment that unfolds, and that's, the present moment is all we have, right? We don't have, the future's not
Yeah.
here. Past is gone. All we have is this next moment that unfolds right in front of us. So, and that's the opportunity, right? As these words come out of my mouth and I'm expressing myself, making space available for others, am I connected, committed, and dedicated to that same practice that I'm putting out there? And that's where the power is, right? When we're living our purpose, we're encouraging others to connect to their purpose. We're letting go of those things that no longer serve us, or we're pausing those things that we need to kind of go deeper, right, versus going wide. And I think that's just because it can feel, and it has felt at times for me, like I'm doing a lot of shit. I've got this and this and this and this, and it all sounds impressive, right? And it is impressive. But
Right.
at the end of the day, what am I the master of? Where am I really?
Right.
This is this is this is this is the deep part of who I am.
Yeah.
That's
It just crossed my mind, like, and you see those people, and we've all encountered them, and I was like, man, it's really just a matter of, am I just being busy or making progress?
Yeah.
And because I think we've all encountered those people, because you look back and you're like, dude, you're just looking busy. You're not really doing nothing,
Right.
And that's somewhat a judgment, but we've all been there, done that. And I think, especially for me, I know I can look and be like, damn, I'm doing a lot of busy work just to say I'm taking action. And I'm trying to argue and hang on to that limiting belief. Whereas the progress I could be making is if I was less busy,
Yeah.
and more focused and honed in on certain areas, then I'll make exponential progress. That's how that hit me, and which essentially you're doing what you said at the beginning. You're not going wide, you're going hella far deeper, because at the end of the day, you're focusing on getting deep about the stuff that really, really matters.
Right.
That's really, really going to make an impact in whatever area you're trying to grow, life, business, whatever. Yeah.
and,
That's
and,
how that hit me. I was like, yo,
and going wider is possible, right? But
yeah,
it's
that's
going, maybe I guess that's the ultimate goal, right? Is go deeper and wider. How can I go deep in all these areas that are the most important things to me, and continue to broaden that? How can I in every area of my life go deeper, not just can I'm deeper here, right? And this is important to me. How can I carry over those same practices and methodologies and experiences into going deeper, in all these other areas that are very important to me as well? Because I think that's
yeah,
possible. I think, but it's just gaining that confidence and understanding of you know not playing at surface level. It's like doing the hard work, answering the tough questions, being that vulnerable person that admits I need some help, I need some accountability, I need some stretch. No, I'm not good at that. So understanding where we're at to say, and to say, what, can you help me with that? Because that's not an area I'm very good at. And I think that, especially as men, that's not what we don't typically want to share that, right? We don't want to say, well, I'm not really that good at being a giver to my son. Is that something you really want to share publicly? Versus if you did, to somebody that's able to give you some tools to then say, huh, this is coming from somebody that has some experience and has answered this question that I've had in the back of my mind. It's like, how can I be a more engaged, whole father to my son? I think we have to be willing to say, you know what? I need some help.
right.
I need your support. I need your thoughts. I need your expertise. Whatever that looks like for you, the listener. What are you willing to raise your hand to when the question is asked? Where do you need help? What can you let go of? Where are you going too shallow versus going, deeper in areas of your life that might really take you exponentially forward in your life to create everything you want in your life, not just the couple things that you feel are possible. It's those impossible things, right? It's how do we create that to happen? These things that we're like, oh, I'd love to be able to experience that.
Yeah, I think it's going deep, man. Because I'm sitting, I'm like, yo, this dude, you're in the heart, you're an arborist and all of that, and I'm like, you have, it's inevitable. I would say inevitable, but you have to go deep in order to see it happen. Because it's like, take a tree. Like, if you just throw the seeds on the ground, nothing's gonna happen. You gotta dig. You gotta dig and get to the root and clear a way for that root to then spread out. But if you don't dig deep, and sometimes, it depends on the tree or the plant. A rose, I'm sure, I don't really know exactly, but I'm assuming you don't have to dig as deep for a rose as you would an oak tree. It depends how big you're trying to go in what areas. Some areas, your career might be the oak tree, and relationships might be the rose. So, but either way, you got to go deep, and by going deep, you create that expansion. That's how this whole conversation hit me. I'm like, yo, don't focus on the wide, focus on deep,
Right.
like the stuff that matters, and that's going to get me the growth, and start to look at the stuff like, okay, where do I need to get deeper because I like to experience X, Y, and Z. So I appreciate you putting it in that light, man, and being what you are, or what you've learned to be an artist. Because that, I'm like, yo, ding dong, doorbell. All right, cool. That's another way to look at it, Sid.
Well, I love you brought that up because I wasn't thinking about that. What I was actually thinking about when we were talking about this, when you were speaking, was like a swimming pool. So you've got the shallow end, you've got the deep end, right? So, when you're younger, you always want to hang out in the shallow end because you can touch the ground, you feel like, everything's okay, right? You're supported. You're not going to drown. You can move around and feel comfortable. There's always that leeriness of the deep end of the pool, right? When you can't, you've got to figure out how to, kind of stay afloat. I mean, there's the perimeter around the pool, right, where you could go over to the edge and you can hold on, still knowing that there's the depth below, and what that feels like if you weren't holding on to the edge. But it's that, how do we feel in our life when we push ourselves away from the edge and don't necessarily feel the bottom of things, just that foundation. It's like, how do we function in those situations where, we're just kind of trying to figure it out, right? We can, yeah, I can do this. I can continue to practice to dog paddle, or just keep myself afloat. And over time, I'm going to build up the muscles to be able to do that longer and longer. So it's, so I love the analogies, because I think that's something that, the listeners can look at, when we look in our life, when we have these conversations. Cedric and I are just trying to bring up things that you can connect to that might bring, something that is a real experience in life that equates to, the topic of, going deep or going wide. So the topic itself might sound a little strange or daunting or uncertain, but I think when you think in terms of just, how we engage in life, at the subtle level to where, or at the deeper level, that's what we're talking about. It's just our willingness to, kind of understand that it's scary, right? The deeper parts of our life are scary. The deeper parts of the swimming pool are scary. The deeper parts, within the soil profile of how plants can survive, there's uncertainty. You don't know, a lot of these things. So you, the listener, I mean, are there things that you struggle with as far as, how you navigate through your life in a way where, those deeper areas that need to be explored can be more available to you, and then knowing that there's some safeness around the edges that you can, utilize. But ultimately, we have to kind of reduce some of those superficial experiences that were staying shallow and safe, to explore those deeper parts of us that allow us to experience the impossible and to, feel fulfilled in all areas of our life.
Yeah, man, I feel like this was deep, bro. Oh man, I feel real good, man. After this, man, it's been a good one. Feel real good. I really do. Like, I pray and hope. It's my intent that everybody gets something every time. I know I do. And I appreciate this space. I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all. Believe it or not, like, you guys listening is a very, very big accountability portion for me. So I'm so grateful for that. So grateful for the growth I get to have, by experiencing you guys, being able to show up every week for you guys and chilling with my dog, like, and all your insight, the wisdom you got, and the growth and the stretch, push, all the get off your asses you give me, all of that, man.
Ron, man, Papa Ron.
Right? I know, that's crazy how I turned from Papa Ron, and I'm like, man, shit, hey, Messiah, your uncle on the phone, man. That's crazy, man. But yeah.
Well, I love you, Sed, from the bottom of my heart. I love each and every one of you listeners that pop in to see what we have to say here. We always appreciate anybody that has some comments, support, areas that you'd like to see us explore. We're going to continue to explore all the deep crevices and caverns within the cave. We're going to venture outside the cave, do more live things, just kind of sparking up, just doing some innovative things that we're looking forward to, and just truly appreciate just the space that we've created, honoring ourselves, honoring you to listen, but obviously honoring ourselves and our commitment to showing up in the best authentic way we can, and just to create this space for whatever comes out of
it. Yeah. All right, y'all, man. Hey, it's been a good time chilling with y'all, with you, Ron. As always, love you. Always, y'all. I love y'all. Hope to see y'all back next week. Until then, man, love y'all. Namaste.
Namaste.
All right, brother.